I find it thrilling and humbling to talk about this topic: pornography and masturbation addiction. This set of addictive twins has affected and is affecting many lives all over the world. This set of addiction is subtle because most times the person or persons suffering from this addiction are the only ones, except God of course, that know about it. Coming out from any form of addiction is a struggle, but I consider the addiction of pornography and masturbation more difficult and most times impossible to come out from, because of the fact that it is a very secretive form of addiction that doesn't affect people around you at the early stage, and sometimes even for a longer period or a longer time. The major reason why people want to break out of this addiction originally is guilt. Secondly, because they see they are losing control of their sexual impulse, which poses a threat to their relationships, present or future. In search for freedom from this addiction, many have stumbled into different resources like videos and prints on how to overcome it. I really appreciate those that put in work to create methods or steps of overcoming this addiction. But from experience and hearing the experiences of many others, those resources have only helped in teaching how to ignore the impulses, hoping that you get over it soon. Most porn addicts, in trying to abide by these methods, have found themselves falling into those habits over and over again. This has left them disappointed, defeated, and hopeless. This is because porn addiction is not just a voice or an impulse that tells you when to do what or not. Before I continue with this illustration, I would like to say this: you cannot overcome pornography and masturbation addiction. I repeat, you cannot overcome pornography and masturbation addiction. An addiction is not just a habit. It is an uncontrolled, habitual pattern that your body seems to depend on to function. Most times addiction or habits we build and depend on to meet a need that we think no one else or nothing else can meet. They start by being an action, then a habit, then an addiction. The idea that you can overcome pornography and masturbation addiction by ignoring it is a mere fantasy, because that need that addiction seems to be meeting will have to be met in one way or the other. When action grows into becoming an uncontrollable habit, it shows that it has come to a point where it has overpowered you. I'll say this again. When an action grows to becoming an uncontrolled habit, it shows that it has come to a point where it has overpowered you. If there's anyone that can overcome that addiction in your life, it can no longer be you, because you are overpowered and defeated. You need someone stronger to take on the fight and give you the victory. In doing so, the person will have to create a better substitute to meet the need that you thought porn and masturbation were meeting. Now, the knowledge that you cannot overcome pornography should bring you to the knowledge that you're not even in a battle with it. I mean, you're defeated already. It's time to change your focus from the addiction to the one that can overcome it on your behalf. I have younger ones that have once been beaten up by people older and stronger than them. Now, they didn't sit down to think of how to beat those people up in return. I mean, that would take a lifetime. They immediately brought the case to me and allowed me to handle it. That's the principle I'm introducing to you. You could call it the children's principle. Now, this is the point where I introduce Jesus to you as the only person that can overcome porn and masturbation addiction on your behalf and give you the victory. You might ask how, or you might feel I'm talking nonsense, but since you've tried different methods that have failed, there is no harm listening to what I have to say. And if it doesn't work for you, drop it. Knowing that you cannot overcome porn and masturbation addiction, it is time to change your focus from studying how to overcome to knowing more about the overcomer. Take your eyes off the problem and place it on the solution. Get to know the solution better. Become acquainted with Him. Instead of spending time fighting, spend time knowing the greater fighter that has never been defeated. Even when you fall over and over again, don't stop the pursuit of the knowledge of Jesus. Always remember that it is not your battle but His. So keep reaching out to Him with the whole of your being, because your whole life, now and after, depends on Him. The Bible says, "Draw near to me and I will draw near to you." If it takes 100 kilometers to get to Him, seek to go 10 kilometers and He will go the rest of the 90. We know from experience that every solution that man creates to solve his problem is always accompanied by many other problems. For example, the making of cars to solve the problem of transportation has also brought the problem of road accidents, traffic jam, fuel scarcity, and the list goes on. This is same for every other solution that man has made up. Jesus is the only solution that adds no problem. He is the gift of God that makes a man rich and has no sorrow. He is willing to take on the battle if you let Him. And it's not just by saying, "I let you." It's about a personal relationship with Him on a daily basis. The same way you have built a personal relationship with pornography and masturbation on a daily basis, and it influenced you badly, so you ought to have a personal relationship with Jesus, because that will influence you for the best. I've heard testimonies of people that have been freed or delivered from the bondage of porn and masturbation addiction, and none of them said, "I followed these principles and I overcame." All of them somehow came to the conclusion that Jesus did it. The influence of Jesus is way greater and not comparable to the influence of any addiction. With Him, all things are possible, and He can exceedingly meet that need that addiction seems to be meeting. He will fight for you, and you will have your peace. Seek Jesus with all your heart and get to know Him better. Read the Bible and get other resources that affirm what the Bible says about Him. Take your attention off the problem and place it on Jesus. I'll be starting a series of teaching on the topic, getting to know Him. So you can like this video and subscribe to this channel to get latest updates on my teachings. You can post your questions as comments and I'll try to answer them in my subsequent teachings. May God keep you, and please do join me next time.